I just finished filming my review of my June reads, which I read 10 books, and honestly, this was a really good reading month. I mentioned this in my video that I'm going to post on TikTok, that my two favorites of the month were Severance and Agua Vida, and both of these, I can tell, especially now that I've read so many books, the ones that I enjoy the most are the ones that evoke more thought out of me. I feel like with both of these books, especially Severance, I could take them into my own reality and kind of, what's a good word I'm looking for? Kind of judge and see my life in a new perspective. And yeah, Severance I think is such a good, if you had a book club, this would be such a good book club book because there's so much to talk about. And Agua Vida, I think as a female, as a woman, this is definitely a book that you should read. I personally saw a lot of my thoughts and experiences in life in this book, and there were so many things that I wrote in here and like underlined, like so much. Like when I was reading this in Washington DC on my vacation, I spent a lot of time in cafes underlining and writing in here, and that definitely will hold a lot of sentiment for me in the book and in general, and I think I'll have a special place in my heart for this book after that. But it's not for a bad reason. Like, this book is definitely really brilliant and definitely worth the time, plus it's short. But if you have the time, I think being able to annotate a book like this, you should take the chance if you have it. But I loved it. Like, I wrote so much in it, and you know, it's kind of fun to look back and see what I wrote and I underlined. And you know, in a couple years, I can't wait to go back and just reread what I wrote and see how it applies to my life then. But this morning I finished the first book of July, which is Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion. Fun fact, Joan Didion went to my high school and she was the editor of my high school's newspaper, which is actually really crazy. Like, there's a whole school named after her in my area and everything. But this being like her most famous novel, I was not expecting it to be what it was. And it says like on the cover that it's like a terrifying book and a thriller, and it's just depressing. It's really sad. It deals with addiction and life as a female in the 60s and cheating and infidelity and broken marriage, broken household, family life, all these things. And I see why she is such a famous writer, but this book was really sad. So just know that going into it, if you do plan on reading it, or if you have read it, you definitely know what I'm talking about. I've had this book on my shelves for a good while, so I'm glad that I finally got around to reading it for sure. But the book I'm now reading is called Brooklyn, which is a historical fiction novel about a girl from Ireland who gets sponsored to live in America, and it kind of follows her life there. I'm only on page 12, so I really can't tell you much more than what I know about the summary on the back, but it follows very cohesively like a historical fiction. I think of historical fictions in similar ways to a movie. Like, there's not too much detail that's not important. Everything that you're reading isn't frivolous. Like, it's not like literary fiction at all where you are reading just flowery language on every page. So it's pretty easy to delve into, but I'm enjoying it and I am looking forward to seeing how it goes. I also am super excited to read this because I plan on moving to New York one day, and it is titled Brooklyn after the city in New York, so I think I'll enjoy this book. I've mentioned it before that I am a religious diary writer, and I'm currently on my 8th journal of like consistent writing because, you know, I tried having diaries as a young kid and in like middle school and high school, but it only really stuck in college. And, you know, I feel like my writing skills have definitely improved as I've gone along. I used to really just write like an analog of my day, and I felt like that really got me nowhere because you are somewhat avoiding the depth in that day. You are just talking about it on a surface level way. With that being said, in the past year, I've really tried to focus writing about my feelings more and wishes and goals and stuff like that.